Hey, it's the last day of August 2024, and it's raining, so I'm not working in the garden today. And I have a little thing left over from last fall. Had a local lady, needed somebody to process some raw wool for her. All the local guys were closed because they didn't survive the pandemic lockdowns. Can I do this? And what's her time limit? Brought a sample to me in the beginning of October, said she needed something by Christmas, didn't get the sheep's fleeces until 24th of October, maybe. And my goal was to get this processed and spun in 16 days. Not 16 days in a row, but 16 days worth of work. I think it ended up that I hit like 18. Anyway, this is just some of that stuff to put together on a rainy afternoon while I can't move mulch. First pound of Jacob wool from that fleece that I'm working on. And what I'm trying to figure out is how to most efficiently do this when I'm doing everything by hand in a kitchen sink, all that stuff. So we decided to go with the more salt and pepper, which is fun. I like this one a lot. So I'm taking approximately a half pound of each of the fleeces, and then I was going to go ahead and do that on the drum carder, but the drum carder is producing this very blended thing. So I'm doing it with hand cards. If I'm not careful, I'm getting a sore spot from how my thumb is resting here. So I'm trying to stand my fingers up here and card that way, and just being aware, because I know I've got so much of this to do, just being aware of what hurts not just what's faster but what hurts, and making sure that I find a workaround for that. Doing the carding thing, which I don't do by the rules because I never learned the rules, so do as they say, not as I do, or do whatever works for you, which is probably even better than rules. Hopefully I'll come up with something good by the end. Oh, so I have been hand carding, right? Making these little fluffs. But I've also been closing out the garden, and somehow I hurt my wrist. Surprise, surprise. Don't know whether that's from hand carding or whether that's from shoveling. So this last bit of, which doesn't look like a little bit at all, I should weigh it and see how much it is. but this is the last of this half pound of each of the fleeces. And I did it on the drum carder because that didn't hurt my wrist. So I'm going to see how this spins up and whether it's spinning up differently. I hate changing horses in midstream because I'm concerned that it does do something to the final product. But because I'm such a ninny when it comes to doing this stuff anyway, and I'm not in any sense of the word a perfectionist, so I kind of think it won't show. But just in the washing, I mean, some of these I've washed to get a lot of the lanolin out. So here's the first 2.5 pounds approximately of wool, and here is the second, and the second is just a lot fluffier than the first, and that's because I took out so much more of the lanolin. Oh my gosh, it is just this, the more I move this around, the bigger it gets. It's just so super fluffy and bouncy, and this is going to be such a cool yarn. Anyway, that's that. This is what a lot of these locks are looking like after they're washed. So I'm getting, you can see there's some barnyard in here. Like, let's see. Oh, well, it just fell into the carter. So much for that. But to be able to have these bits at the end, the tips of the locks, not create neps, what I'm doing is using a flicker brush to be able to loosen those up. I guess, let's see if I can do it this way. Usually I have more space than what I'm giving myself here, but it's to loosen up the tips that you can still see are snarly, and we go from a snarly looking thing to this loose unknotted fiber, and then I just loosen up the butt ends or cut ends of the locks. Sorry. And this gets out some of these little second cuts that are in there. it's not August anymore. It's September, and it was 38 degrees this morning. It's September 10th, I think. Anyway, want to give you the follow-up, how all of this turned out here. I have notes somewhere, but I can't find them. So I took a random handful from each of the two fleeces to be able to create this salt and pepper, a rustic, thick, thin yarn. The thin is DK, the thick is about an Aran. Ended up with 3,600 yards, 15 skeins, and it's enough, I figure, for 2 adult sweaters. And you can see the variation in tone from dark to light. And so it's sort of, you could make a light sweater and a dark sweater, or you could mix it all up. So I have links below for the Wool Maven and for New Mexico State University. The Wool Maven article that link is to, the blog post, is about how much can you get out of raw fleece, how much spinnable fiber can you get. And her average is 64%. So if you're buying a fleece, a raw fleece at Maryland Sheep and Wool, Rhinebeck, or a local farm, even better, then you can expect to get 64% of the weight of that raw fleece in spinnable fiber. The New Mexico State University post is to, I guess, a study that they did on various sheep breeds as to what to expect in weight loss because you're washing out the lanolin. So the finer the fleece, apparently the higher the content of lanolin in that fleece. Anyway, both really good articles, and it was helpful along the way as I kept seeing, the weights, the poundage decrease. It was great to know that should have been something that I would expect from the beginning. So it's coming on winter season, right? This is a Reynolds sweater pattern from back in the 70s. It was knitted for my sister by a friend back in the 70s. And it's time for this sort of thing, because we just went from 90 degrees to 38 degrees. A little shocking. Winter is coming, sweater weather, and I sure hope that the person who got all of these yarns enjoys it. I hope I provided something that she has fun using. Fiber on.